Hey there folks, Rel here. Today I wanted to introduce you to how backgrounds work in Distal, a high fantasy, class-heavy, D20 based tabletop role-playing system in early development. You can join us at playdisrpg.com. In Dungeons & Dragons, a background is a brief description that alludes to what your character has been doing either in the recent days just prior to the adventure, or maybe in a past they've put behind them before that. It provides some proficiencies and tools for your character, as well as, in more recent expansions, access to feats or spells. Backgrounds in D&D seem to split the audience a little bit on what they should actually be accomplishing for a character. You have some people who feel that a background should serve primarily as the basis for your story and be more of a flavor choice than anything else. Then you have others who wish your background was more ingrained in your character's development. In either case, you still have the problem of the GM asking you for a character's backstory and then leaving the player without enough detail to really make good use of their chosen background for that purpose. Or you have players who are taking the backgrounds strictly for their mechanical benefits and ditching whatever story was provided altogether. In Distal, we wanted backgrounds to be a larger part of the character creation process, hopefully to inspire more diverse stories, give players interesting pieces to puzzle together, and provide mechanical benefits that hammer home why your character is good at something. We certainly don't solve all the problems that exist in the D&D style backgrounds, but I like to think that we at least make it a fun part of the character creation process. Speaking of which, I'm going to run through that process now, and you can let me know how you feel about it in the comments section down below. The way that Distal's background writing works is by ad-libbing a couple of short sentences driven by prompts. You can either roll on the tables or pick the prompts that you like, but it's worth rolling through the tables at least once. You might end up with something exciting and unexpected. Starting with the first prompt, I grew up, and we'll roll the d20 and see where we land. So I grew up with a massive family. That one's easy to imagine, so we'll keep going. We roll a d6 and a d10, 4 to start, that sorts us into the second box, then a 10 on the d10, and my days were spent picking pockets. I love this one because I immediately imagine street urchins, which is one of my favorite upbringings just due to the adversity that a character would have to overcome. But for this, I imagine that with a massive family, maybe we're the oldest child, maybe our parents are gone, and maybe I'm the one that's looking after everyone, picking pockets, nicking goods just to feed the family. Maybe I want to keep everyone out of harm's way, so maybe not everyone knows that this is a thing that I do. Moving down to the next box, I became an adventurer. To pause real quick, this particular box is more to give you a worthwhile loadout when you begin at first level, so feel free to keep the prompt and pick whichever configuration gets you the starting gear that you're looking for. So I became an adventurer the day my organization fell apart. To me, this reads like maybe not only was my character participating in unscrupulous activities to feed their family, they probably had a bunch of other people working alongside them. It reads like I was part of a criminal organization and wasn't just doing this on my own, which totally makes sense. How many people get pushed into a life of crime out of the need to simply survive? But now we have to figure out why my organization fell apart. Before we do that though, we're going to take a moment, fill in the character sheet, and then we'll come back to the contact portion of this. All the benefits on the sheet coincide with skills, knowledge, items, gold, or weapon proficiencies, and contacts. For knowledge, we have a +2 in religion, +2 to strategy. Since we come from a massive family background, I imagine that as a kid, maybe we had parents who brought us to church to keep us on the straight and narrow. But it could have just as easily been that my character was looking to some higher power to find a way to cope with the loss of their parents. Strategy speaks more to me like you're finding ways to get what you want when you're surrounded by a bunch of siblings that are competing for attention. Then we get a total of +3 to streetwise, +2 to performance, and a +1 to commerce. This all makes sense for the story I envision. Streetwise to know which alleyways not to turn down, and performance to keep you from getting caught stealing. And then there's commerce to help you get some more gold for that thing you just stole. For skills, we end up with a +2 stealth total. Pretty self-explanatory here given what this character has been up to. I also have a total of 15 starting gold, 1 weapon proficiency, and 3 low-priced items. This is all more relevant in the next step of the process, and we're not going to cover it in this video. So we're just going to drop the weapon proficiency in the combat proficiencies box, keep the 3 low-priced items in the equipment section, and save the gold for a rainy day. Now the last thing that we need to do is in regards to the 2 contacts that we picked up. The first is a familial contact from our massive family, and the second is a criminal contact from the organization that fell apart. A contact is someone who has had an important impact on your character's development, and more than that, they are intended to be someone that your character could try to reach out to. Someone who helps move your character's story forward and can provide something of value to you. A contact is fleshed out first by the player, and then you can work with your GM to fine-tune the details based on whatever kind of campaign or adventure you're running. If you're only doing one-shots instead of a campaign proper, it might be best to pick up a different background benefit since the payoff of a contact is meant to be more of a long-term one. For the familial contact, we're going to roll a d10 3 times, 1 for each column. Rolled a 1, so they're a twin of ours, which is interesting. That's 6. That is sitting on a fortune. Okay, I think I see where this is going. We'll find out real soon. And can conduct esoteric rituals. That one feels a little bit out of place off the cuff, but I'm going to roll with it, see what happens. Until I got to the esoteric rituals part, I was like, okay, me and my brother, probably both running operations until something bad happened between us. But now I'm thinking that me and my sister never really agreed on how to take care of the rest of the family. I feel like maybe she was more druidic or witchy, very much a warm, caring, motherly figure while I was out doing the bad stuff that nobody knew about. I think that one day, maybe she tried to get me out of this life. And it's something that we've always argued about. Maybe not in front of our younger siblings, as we try to set some sort of good example, but maybe she did something unexpected. Maybe the reason that she's sitting on a fortune is because she stole something that the people I was working for were after. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's repeat the process for the criminal contact, see what happens. So it turns out that they were a prisoner of war, which is crazy, I guess. That is the head of a thieves guild, which, okay, makes sense. And can share smuggling routes. So here's what I'm reading from this. Maybe the people that my twin sister betrayed, or rather made me betray, I guess, aren't the same people that my criminal contact is a part of. I feel like my criminal contact is a prisoner of war from another nation who still runs operations while being confined. I think maybe they helped me smuggle my sister and our siblings out of our town, where the people I was running from couldn't find them. The stipulation is probably that I needed to do something for my criminal contact. I think that I became an adventurer because I'm in their service. Maybe they want me to find a way to break them out. Or maybe they're content and just want me to help them deliver a message or make a statement. Or maybe they're a prisoner intentionally to spy on this rival nation from the inside, and maybe I'm committing treason. But that's where we ended up with this character. We take on the background building process and use prompts to help fuel our imagination. They're meant to be detailed enough to create powerful imagery, but not so specific that they put you in a box. And all in all, this is only the starting point for your character and its adventures in Distal. If this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and if you're interested in learning more about Distal, go ahead, join our Discord at playdisrpg.com. Thanks very much, folks. We're all signing off.